Okay, now, Engelbert, you started your name differently, didn't you? Arnie, would that be fair to say?
That's what my mother called me, and I didn't make it in the industry under that name, although Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't do too bad. But when my name was changed in 1965, and then I became successful in 1967 with Engelbert, it was a good part of my life.
Do you think it really does make a difference, the name? You know, to start off as Arnold Dorsey as opposed to Engelbert Humperdinck?
Well, I tried under that name, but it didn't work. And then along came Gordon Mills, who was the manager at the time, and he gave me that name, and bingo, it happened. And that was 44 years ago.
Now, you started off in a very big family, didn't you? Whereabouts were you in the family?
I'm ninth born.
Oh, my God. Were you wearing all the hand-me-downs?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And at what age were you when you decided to take up the saxophone?
I was 11. Mm-hmm. I started when I was 11, and I played I took lessons from 11 to 17, and then I found out that I had a voice because I went into a little club and worked, and I got a standing ovation. So I decided to put the sax down and bring out the voice, and I haven't looked back from then onwards.
Do you ever pick up the saxophone now?
No, I don't. No, I'm afraid I don't. I do own one, but I don't pick it up.
It's the kids and the grandkids now, is it?
Yeah. It's a trophy at the moment.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So you started off as Arnold Dorsey. You then changed your name to Jerry Dorsey because you did such a great impression of Jerry Lewis. Is that right?
In the early days,
Yep.
If you didn't have a head record, you had to do something else. So I learned how to do a few impressions, and I did one of Jerry, and I did it of Dean and Sammy Davis, but in today's world, I stopped all that because I've got so many songs to sing.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah. You don't have to be anybody else now. I should think after all this time. In fairness to yourself. Now, I noticed that you did national service. Did that just feel like, oh, I'm just starting to get where I want to be, and then I have to go off in a different direction?
No, I wasn't really involved in show business severely at that particular time, but when the national service came, I enjoyed it very much because I was serving my country, and it taught me a lot. It taught me civility. It taught me how to keep a clear head, and I think it's good. It was good for me. It really was good, and I enjoyed being my 2 years.
And you also went through some pretty tough health times as well, the TB, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, right after that I did get sick because when you're trying to get on in the industry, and you don't eat very well,
yeah,
and you're staying in places that are not conducive to good health, it was pretty bad in those days.
I bet it was, yeah. Now, okay, you had your name changed in 65, but tell me, what was it like for you in the 60s? I was in the 60s, you were in the 60s. I had a little crush on you, I have to be honest, but then I'm sure that you've heard this many a time. But what was it like? What was the scene like for you back in the 60s, Engelbert?
Well, it was a lot different to what it is today. I mean, it was the era of screaming and throwing things on stage and one thing and another. It was rather exciting, actually. Every show was an exciting show. You never knew what was going to happen. You never knew you were going to wear a shirt or it's going to be torn off you or whatever.
Wow.
But they were exciting years. I enjoyed it.
And you had a good friendship with Elvis, is that right? Was there a little bit of a controversy who started the sideburns?
Well, there's no... to be honest with you, I grew mine first.
There you go.
Yes, and then he grew his afterwards. And I said to him, Elvis, you did steal my sideburns. And he said, well, if it looks good on you, it looks good on me. And so anyway, that was the story about the sideburns. But Elvis, if you look at Elvis's early movies, even in the early 70s, he never had sideburns.
Oh, so he was definitely following you.
Yeah. Well, if you check that out.
I will, definitely. So back in the 60s, Engelbert, when you were making your big move, I mean, there you were with the name change in 1965, and it was another 2 years later before you got that big chance. But it was one of those things that was almost down to luck, wasn't it?
Very much so. I found the song "Release Me" was like a needle in a haystack. I mean, when Gordon Mills, my first manager, played me the melody of that song, I knew it was a hit by just hearing the melody. And then we found the lyrics, and I said I'd like to record it, and I recorded it. And it was voted a miss on Jukebox Jury, but 3 months later, it was a hit. And it went to number one after doing the Sunday night at the London Palladium.
I cannot understand how anyone managed to survive Jukebox Jury. It was so hard.
I know. The only person, I've said this so many times, the only person that voted it a hit, and Lulu was on the panel at that time, was the lovely Lulu.
Do you ever sing with her now?
I haven't, but I have sang with Lulu, but I haven't recently, no.
I think you should get her back up.
But she's doing
on stage.
terrific. She's doing terrific.
Yeah, as you are as well. I mean, goodness, are we talking 150 million records?
Yes, it's wonderful. Yeah.
What do you think was the magic of the 60s, Engelbert?
I don't know. How it happened with me, I don't know, because I was thrown to the wolves, because everything was different in the charts at that particular time, and then along comes a ballad. It was the Beatles' 13th number one, Penny Lane, and unfortunately they didn't get to number one, but because "Release Me," a ballad, took the place, and I was so excited, I can't tell you.
Well, not many people can say that they actually beat the Beatles, can they?
No.
What do you miss about the 60s?
The 60s, it was very fast moving for me, because in 67, 68, 69, I was working practically every day of my life and trying to make my career happen and make it better and better and better. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I think, management kept me working quite a lot. So it's the very little I can say, that I can remember. It's just a lot of work and a lot of successful shows and exciting receptions.
Well, it's kept you going all these years, and you're still touring around, which is fantastic. If I could ask you just one final question, because I know you're really busy. What would you most like to be remembered for?
Well, my legacy should always just be my music. That's all. That's what I'll be remembered for. Because today, I mean, people who have been passed away, like Nat King Cole, his songs are still played today, and that's the legacy that he left behind, his beautiful voice and some great songs. And
which one would you like us to play now?
Or from the 60s, I would say The Last Waltz.
Perfect. It's my favorite. Thank you so much indeed. Lovely to speak with you, Engelbert.
Thank you, dear.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.